Hello.
Welcome to Recovery Mastermind. 30 seconds. As many questions correctly as
Oh no, I wasn't.
freshwater fishing, kid.
All right, that's all right then. If it's freshwater fishing, I'm all right.
How are you, Patrick?
Oh yeah, great, fantastic. Yeah,
You good? Welcome to Unfiltered Lives, the other side. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Happy to be here. It's nice to sit down and have a chat with everyone.
You've just come back from Dorset. You've just been on a fishing trip, haven't you?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, it wasn't the easiest fishing trip with a 6.5 hour drive down, 6.5 hour drive back. Loads of bad weather. But you know, we ended on a high note. So yeah, it was worthwhile in the end. Yeah.
We have gotten to know you over the past month with coming into community links. And you've been kind of working in the background.
Yes.
And I've been quite intrigued by the person who is doing this tackling addiction.
Yeah.
So if you could just tell us about the person, maybe take us back to your childhood, who you are, and ultimately how we came to starting what was a tackling addiction.
Well, that's a good one. So in terms of, but like where did tackling addiction come from? It does stem back to being, mega into nature, outdoors, that sort of thing. I was always outside as a child, climbing trees, typical childhood really, climbing trees, playing in fields, and then obviously going fishing and stuff like that. And I've always had like a really, really strong sort of interest in nature and the natural world. So that was a segue into, the outdoorsy side of it, if you will. I don't like hearing it, but I get described as like, friendly, chatty, outgoing, helpful person. Like I'll put myself out for anyone, and I don't like hearing it, but I like doing it. Like I don't know what it is. I don't know what compels me to do it, but I just feel like if I've only got one sort of run at this life, I might as well, try and help people along the way. Just spread a bit of joy. Just be nice to people. I don't see why people can't just be nice to each other. So
was your parents an influence? It was your dad a fisherman, or was your mum into nature, or how did it rub off on you?
So yeah, I used to go fishing quite a lot with my dad. I think the outdoor sort of influence was quite heavy from my family because that's how they were brought up. A lot of it come from my uncle. He was passed away now, but that's right. He was pretty much. That's where I got a lot of what I am now from the out, all the outdoorsy sort of stuff, like, going to the beach, making fires, and walks through the woods and stuff like that, and just learning like about what edible plants and things, like wild garlic, go and pick wild garlic, take wild garlic, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Just all exciting things when you're a kid. So that's kind of a lot of the influence. And I had another uncle as well who actually, he was the first person who took me fishing, and he's also not with us now. So he was the first person. Yeah, huge influence. So like that that side of my family anyway, like has always been very, very outdoorsy, like my mum's side.
So family wise, have you got my brothers and sisters? Or?
I've got one brother, younger brother. Very, very close. There's only 3 years between us. And we've always been like that. Extremely close.
Where do you come from? Are you Hartlepool?
I'm from Hartlepool, Hartlepool born and bred. Yep. Started off life in King Aussie.
Right, yeah.
In Dowson Road, which was like right down the bottom end of King Aussie. And then we moved up the top end of King Aussie, and then that was it. That was it until I was.
So King Aussie is right next to the beach, and it's practically on the beach, isn't it?
So it was easy access to get onto the beach and on the sand dunes and stuff, and the golf courses, Hartlepool Walk. It was close access to everything, sort of coastal. So yeah, it was good growing up having that so close to home.
So moving into school, Did you, in school, was nature still a part of you, or what about friends? And
yeah, so it was kind of sort of repressed it for a while because it's not considered cool.
Yes, that's what I thought.
Yeah, well, it just is. It is what it is when you're kids, isn't it? So I just, ignored that. I still used to do it in the spare time, though. But wouldn't tell you what, like, I'm not bothered about it now, obviously, but I used to, like, if everyone else was out playing, I don't know, football or something like that, and I've just fancied a bit of a break, I'd sit in my room and birdwatch out the window.
Really?
Yeah, like, just
what age would that be then? What age?
I don't know, like six-year-olds, maybe earlier. Like just sitting in. I don't know what it was. I think I think I can look back now and say that it was sort of the collectible sort of side of it. I think that's the right way of putting it. So, being like, identifying and ticking off lists and stuff like that, that was like a big part of it for me. And that's like, obviously that's where the fishing comes into it. It's the ticking things off and the achieving goals, and that's where it all sort of comes in.
Would you say that childhood plays a massive part, what you see and influence in childhood plays a massive part in what would become adulthood?
Yeah, definitely. I think the things that happened throughout my childhood have kind of helped influence the way that I am today. Yeah, there's loads of different things that have kind of spiraled off and led on different. But there could have been so many. When I think back, there could have been many different paths that I could have ended up down, and just I'm here today doing what I'm doing now.
Take me through school. Take me through your teenage years.
Yeah. So primary school was pretty tough. Just with, I'm going through getting diagnosed with ADHD.
Okay, yeah.
And now we look back on it, it's become obvious to everyone, like to my family and my wife and myself. We can look back and go, that there's something not not quite.
Yeah.
Like right there, like that should have been addressed. So that I struggled a lot with that, like with attention, and I was classed as a little chatterbox and a naughty boy, and I wasn't. I was just understimulated.
Yeah.
That's all it was. Like I'm not thick. I was just understimulated. I think, and I was bullied quite a bit, just for my size, just for being small. But that's it is what it is when you're a kid. You know what I mean? That's what it was. And then teenage years, similar sort of things. Bullying kind of laxed off a little bit. There was still a little bit of it there, but it just, I got better at dealing with it. But as my mum says, a gift of the gab, talking myself out of situations and just flabbergasting people. And I think as well, it's like making friends with everyone. That was kind of what got me into being who I am now. Like I think I've realised now that it's when I've done the research into it and I've spoke to the doctors and stuff, with ADHD there's like a level of people pleasing, and that's now I can kind of see that's where this is coming from. So I think I've been like sort of masking for all those years, being trying to please everyone and then not taking enough time for myself, and that's kind of led up to a couple of defining points in me sort of early adult life. But
how did the people pleasing affect you, if you could describe that? Because I was a terrible people pleaser.
It got to the point not that long ago. It started off as just harmless enough, really. I seen it as a way of making friends. And I didn't actually, I can look back now and I can see that it was people pleasing. I was just doing it, to appease other people's and, make sure that people like me. I couldn't abide the idea of people like not liking me for some reason. I don't know why that is. I don't know. I still don't know now, but yeah. But it got to a point like over the last few years or something where it was actually affecting like sleep and like my mental state. Little things would crop up or someone had asked me to do something that if you look at it and you actually analyse what they're actually asking you, it's not that big a deal. But my brain just absolutely threw it all out of proportion. And I was losing sleep over it. I was feeling sick. I was getting mad headaches. I was having panic attacks at like waking up with panic attacks and then not being able to sleep. I was getting up at like 4 a.m. and brain was just taking over, and I just there was no stopping it. And that's when I finally went to the doctors and got some help. That was just that was just last year. Yeah.
Wow.
So that was. I'm glad. I've had sort of spells throughout me later. Well, like my early 20s where these things cropped up, but they weren't as strong, and I've always had my wife there to support me. But now, when they happen, I could pinpoint what was the cause of it and why it was happening. So I was like, right, I need to go and see a professional. I need to go and see someone to give me some help about this. And there was one recently, and it was literally, it was like last year. I think someone had asked me to do something, and I was like, right, I'll go and do it, because I couldn't settle. I was laying in bed and I was like, I can't settle. I need to go and like, it was only something daft as well. I was like, I need to go and do it. And our ass was going like, no, like, don't. You're not doing it you're doing it to please the people. You're not doing, do you want to do it? I went, no. Why are you doing it then? Because I don't want to upset them. So I'm laying there and they're going, oh!
I'm smiling at that, but you're actually, you're like telling my story at the moment, I'm screaming at all, honest, I'm smiling, but I don't mean to.
I totally get it. It's awful, isn't it? But yeah, it's like, it's almost physically painful, because it's like your brain's telling you, like, it's compelling you to do this thing, and you're having to like physically restrain yourself from doing it. It's so strange. But yeah.
Tell me about tackling addiction, how it all started.
Yeah, so to kind of cover the whole thing, take you back to where this journey, this particular journey sort of started. I was working at a builder's merchant for 7 years. Started off, fantastic. I loved it. It was a brilliant job. Thought it's a nice salary. I'm going to be able to support my family when we eventually have children. I'm going to be able to do all these things, and I'm like, yes, proper adult now. And then after a certain amount of time, I started getting a bit stagnant, and I was realizing like, this isn't the thing that I want to sort of do. I'm not getting challenged. I'm slipping into a sort of negative, negative mindset. And that's when I made the decision to go to university. So I went to university. I've just finished. I've just graduated. This was 26.
Brave decision.
I think 26, 27 I went. So, 2027. So it was three years. I'm 30 now. So yeah, maths. And so yeah, like leaving a sort of stable job, a solid income and stuff like that. It was a big decision, but I thought like my mental health and where I'm at mentally, because I just wasn't in a good space at all. So yeah, I eventually made the decision to leave, go to university. Studied graphic design, which is something that I've always, studied it at A level and throughout school and stuff like that. So I decided that that's where my passion lies. That's what I want to do. Got through the 3 years, and then in the last year with the my FMP, tackling addiction was born, and that's where I decided to start pushing the creative field more into helping people. Yeah. So the helping people, you've already touched on that as a kid, that need to help on people, that I just want to help on someone. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's like a good point. But with this is like like tackling addiction and community links. This is that same feeling, but it's redirected. It's into a it's into a proper way. Like it's into actually making an impact on people. I've thought, how can I the idea was to do something that's creative, graphic design, yes, but I also want to have an impact on the community. I want to do something that's going to that's going to help people. I want to do something that's going to change people's lives. Like if I'm only here for another 70 years or something, I want to make sure that my time here is spent making some sort of impact, because otherwise, like, what in my eyes, what's the point?
Yeah.
Like, I need to have some sort of impact. So that's where Tackling Addiction come from.
Yeah.
And
Where did you come up with the name?
it was actually Craig.
Really?
So yeah, Craig was the name. So the story behind it was good.
Tell me how you met Craig.
So Craig, I've known Craig through fishing, basically.
Right.
We've got mutual friends. We were both fishing the similar place. He was posting catch reports. I was posting catch reports. And he just reached out and he was just like, oh, just friendly as you like.
Yeah.
You know,
he's very much like that, isn't he?
Typical Craig, as you know him now, yeah. Like, all right, Paddy lad, like, where have you been? What you been catching? You know, like, so yeah. And then just after that, it just clicked pretty much. And then I had the idea to do something. It was what Tackling Addiction is. Yeah. But I wasn't quite sure of what the name was going to be, but I knew what it was going to be.
So you had the idea.
I had the idea.
Almost there.
And as I wrote that, like, this is no exaggeration either. As I wrote the idea down in my day book and started, you know, jotting bits down,
journaling,
figuring stuff out, I flicked onto Facebook, had a look through, and Craig put a post up saying, community links, fishing. We're going to get the lads out fishing. Has anyone got an eye? Does anyone want to get involved? We're going to call it Tackling Addiction. And I was just like, that's just spooky. Like, that's so, like, so I messaged them straight away. We met up for a coffee. I ran through everything, all the ideas I had with them on the logos, you know, all the social media that I wanted to do, videos, photography, everything, the events. I ran through all that with them. And that's where we ended up, where we are. That's where we are now.
Born. What I love about this story is you've used this negative, where you're trying to help people, but it's affecting you, to then helping people in a positive way. Yeah, it's seeing, you know what I mean? There's like identifying a weakness and kind of changing it into strength. And changing it into a positive one, haven't you? Definitely, yeah. And I'm kind of glad that I've got, I think it's the support from my wife's been really good. She's very, very wise. How long have you been married? 7 years on Saturday. 7 years on Saturday. Have you got any kids? We haven't at the moment, no, but on the horizon, I think. Good. Tell me what a day in the life is like in your life, Patrick. 90 mile an hour. Go on then. Wake up, like literally, like the day in your life. I want to know. I want to know everything. Wake up, walk the dog, straight in the car to work, do a shift, come home, start doing the Tackling Addiction stuff. So I'll do social media posts, organise events. If we've got an event on the weekend, I'll email the Angling Association, the Angling Trust. I'll get all of the licenses and stuff set up for that event. Then I'll make all the posts. I'll be messaging people, but then I'll be checking the messages for people giving donations, organising going to pick up the donations, and then I'll have about, I don't know, 20 messages off family and friends where they're saying, you're coming to do X, or how are you, or what's that, so I'll sit and flick through all of them, and then I'll go and walk the dog, and we'll have our tea, and then I'll be back on my phone again. Like, Tony's always saying, what you doing? Like, what you doing on your phone? Just put your phone down. Just have 5 minutes. I can't, because there's always something else pops up. Something else pops up. Do you want to do this? Yeah. I've got this for you. Like, should we try and do that? And there's always an idea. Like, there's been times when I've been sat there and I'll just stand up, walk in the back room, get on the laptop because I've had an idea, and I'll have to get it out. I told you about that the other morning where it was like 4 o'clock in the morning. I woke up and I sat up with the idea, ran downstairs and started working on this this video idea that I had for Tackling Addiction at like 4 in the morning. It just shows you when you're in love with what you're doing, when you're in love with the project and you're in love with the programme and you're getting on well with other people, you know, because you don't come from an addiction background, but you're giving so much to people who have addictions. That's it, so much to these. That's it. I mean, folk. I think it stemmed from
a massive influence was obviously the tutors at Northern School of Art at the university, because they're very the kind of influence you'd use designed for good rather than just make a logo. Do you know what I mean? Like they like really push yourself into doing, like, making social, environmental, economic, whatever change you can, like, kind of push that. So that was a big influence. And I've had a few family members who have died as a result of like alcoholism and stuff like that. So that I don't want other people to have to go through that. If it was horrible for me, it's going to be horrible for everyone else. So like, if I can, help prevent that, or help give someone, a new focus or a way out, then I want to do that. Yeah.
What would you say to the Patrick of the past?
Keep your head down, push on. It's not as bad as you think. Yeah.
Oh, well done, mate. See that hug, Bob?
Yeah.
Well done, mate.